Is domain misleading us again? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because this is going to be an interesting one. A viewer sent me this article from Domain and he found out a few interesting things. He wanted me to have a look at it. You know, tired of renting? These strategies could get you into the property market sooner. Fantastic. Fantastic. It was written by Alexandria Kane just yesterday for Domain. Now, Adam Guella, is that right? Went in with his mum to buy 2 new properties. Not 1, but 2. Okay? So you're not doing it right, guys. If you're getting the bank of mum and dad to lend you some money to get into 1 property, no. You got to do it properly. You got to get 2. 2. Bragging rights. I mean, this is the world we're in now, guys. This is the world we're in. So, and he's only 25. Adam doesn't do things by halves. He's just emancipated himself from the rental market by buying not 1, but 2 properties in Geelong. But he has had a little help. I've always wanted to buy my own place, but it wasn't until I moved back to Geelong from Melbourne that I started conversations with agents and mortgage brokers, he said. As a renter, I've lived in every type of property. Terrace house, share house, modern and art deco apartments. Now I can finally make my place my own. Pandemic notwithstanding, he has bought 2 properties with his mum's help in the Ryrie home property development in Geelong. Aside from parental assistance, the low interest rate environment has also helped him get his foot on the property ladder. So we'll just jump over here to Facebook and we can see, I mean, here's the Facebook page for that development. And you can see some nice renders that they have here. There's a nice render of it. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad. Look, they've spent money on a model. They've spent money on a model. Good on them. That always makes a big difference, and they're expensive. Although more and more of them are now offshore, sent offshore. I mean, there you go. The Geelong quarter. There you go. What do you think, guys? Nice. So let's jump to some of the listings. So we've got one here. And we'll scroll up to the top and we can see. We listed 5 days ago. Nice little 1-bedder, little bedroom, bathroom, laundry, nice little property. Let's look at some of the renders. Yeah, can't complain. I don't think you're going to get that in your 1 bedroom. That would probably be the shared space. Do they have a price here for this one? They don't. We'll have a look at this one here. We'll have a look at this one here. Here's another one, a bigger one, much more luxurious. What's that? 1, 2, 3 beds with 2 ensuite and a bathroom, little walk-in robe. So yeah, nice plans. I don't mind the plans at all. Here we have another one. I mean, look at that view, guys. Look at that view. I mean, look at that plan. Beautiful views from each bedroom. Got a shared bathroom with a bath, an ensuite, walk-in robe, little wash closet there as well. Big storeroom, big living area here. But there's something about all of these that we should just be aware of. We scroll right down to the bottom here. We can see evidence of a relationship between 2 parties. There's Nick, Sunny and Adam Guala. You can contact either one of them. We scroll down here as well. Nick again. And Adam. Here as well. We scroll down. Nick and Adam. Let's go back to this article. Because, Adam, okay, great. So he works in the real estate industry. Or is, maybe he's a salesperson. Maybe he's just selling these. Works for the developer to sell these. I mean, good on him. That's probably how he can afford to get into 2 of these properties. But just remember those names. So, my options were limited as a young first-home buyer. So I've bought 2 off-the-plan apartments. I mean, I've lost all confidence in off-the-plan apartments, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well, particularly with all the construction issues that have happened in Sydney and all around Australia. Sydney is not unique. With my mum to convert into one larger property. Okay, so he's bought 2 off-the-plan apartments to convert into one larger property. I mean, that just seems very frustrating from the architect and the engineer's designs. You definitely want to hope that it's not going to have any structural impacts and require all recalculation. But I'll live in the apartment for now, and Mum and Dad will move in when they want to downsize, and I'll move on. It's nice to be able to do this with my mum, who is a keen property investor. Okay, so she's in the market as well, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's going to miss out on the first home buyer because he's going in with them, or did he buy one and she bought another? We'll never know. We'll never know. So, alternative strategies. So we heard Adam's story. While going in with your parents on a property purchase is one way out of the rental trap, there are other avenues buyers can pursue as well. If you have a deposit ready, there's no harm in letting your property manager know you want to buy the place you're renting, suggests Nick Sini, founder of Franz Developments. Now, where have we seen that name before? Oh, yes, right here. Ryan Home, where Adam is listed as one of the contact points, where Nick is listed as one of the contact points. Now, either this could just be a complete coincidence that one of the contact points just happens to have the exact same name as the young gentleman featured in this article, or there's an existing relationship between these two people, a business relationship. Now, as a reader of this article, if there is a business relationship, don't you think that's important? Do you think that should be declared? Could that potentially be a conflict of interest? I'm putting it out to you. Could it be seen as a deceptive piece of written work? Perhaps. Perhaps. At the very least, all they could do, they could say, they could dress it up even, Adam, who works in the real estate industry, or who knows the value of property by selling it. Couldn't they do that? Maybe it's just a complete coincidence. But we've seen that Domain isn't very rigorous with any of their quality control, at least their editorial work. So, we'll keep going back here. If the response is positive, the next step is to establish a price. An agent can provide an appraisal, but it's also an idea to get a feel for the market yourself by doing research into comparable property sales. The process might be easier if you're already renting directly from the owner, he said. Good communication is key. Be open and direct with your intentions. Well, I get the feeling if there is an established relationship between these two guys, has that been communicated here? What do you think, everyone? Think long term. AMP financial advisor Andrew Heaven notes it's important to understand owning is very different to renting. You need to think through if you can see yourself living in the property you're renting for years to come. Think about whether the property is in a high growth area and if the suburb is close to public transport, healthcare facilities and schools. If the property ticks your boxes, it's best to make an offer in writing. You can then start negotiations in the sale process. Shane Larid, head of customer experience at property management platform Difference, recommends being reasonable when you're making an offer. Use market data to understand what's fair and back up your offer. Multiple paths. Larid says rent vesting. Renting where you want to live and buying a property that's more affordable than the one you're living in is another avenue. Don't these guys remember? We were just looking at articles of people, of rent investors. I remember these. It was an ABC article, a rent investor who was crying poor because he couldn't afford the state-mandated, rent discounts, and he didn't have any buffer. I think rent investing is a bit of a bloody luxury. You should buy something you can afford. Maybe, if you can't afford to live in the nice area, you got to go somewhere cheaper and put up with that for a while. But, there you go. And this just seems like the same old thing. Buying off the plan, as Gaulier did, is a popular option to go from renting to buying. Time is on your side here. while you need to make a down payment to secure your interest in the asset, in many instances you won't need to put down a full deposit initially. This will give you time to get your finances in order. Okay, buying off the plan is fantastic in a rising market. When property is going up, that means the risk of your property being valued less than what you originally agreed to buy for is much lower. Right now, we're in the first recession Australia's had in 28 years. 28 years. You've got vacancy rates for apartments going up everywhere. You've got Sydney apartments where they're selling them for 15% lower. 15% lower than, to get out of this stuff. You've got Airbnbs flooding the market. You've got no international students coming to the country. You've got no international migration coming to the country. Why the hell would anyone buy off the plan now when you think when everything is pointing to the market going down, or at least just sitting there? Why? And then we've got all the construction issues, the fire cladding issues, the defects issues, the contaminated ground issues, the cracking issues. How's he? I'd like to know how he's procuring this building. What's the methodology that it was built? Is it a design and construct? Is there a clerk of works on site? Who's checking the construction? Those are the questions you should be asking. Is the developer going to have significant control over the body corporate after it's established, then potentially mitigate any risk towards defects? Or getting defects rectified by the builder? Are there conflicts of interest there? Be aware, however, of the risks involved in buying off the plan. There's no guarantee that when it comes time to settle, that the value of the property will be the same or higher. Real estate is a long-term investment, so short-term market movements are less of a factor unless you plan on flipping. Well, no. It is a huge factor for people that are struggling to get together a deposit and go into their first house. How many times have we're seeing buyers not able to pay, then they lose their deposit, then they possibly get sued for what they're owed. Or there was that guy in Sydney. Remember, he bought a bloody apartment off the plan, and then his garden disappeared. What guarantee is what you're buying on the plan, on these sketch designs that we see here, won't radically change? Because I'll tell you now, if he can afford, if they can afford to make radical changes combining these two things now, I wouldn't, well, how much of the structure has been resolved? How much of the design has been coordinated? So that's the thing when you're buying off the plan too. You're buying a concept. You're buying a concept that can change because and it's not through any nefarious means. It's just that a building is a unique product. It's unique to the site. So, buying with is this just the worst advice in the bloody world, this article? No wonder this viewer sent it to me. He knew I'd get pissed off about it, Shit. Buying with family or friends is another way to get into the market. That's probably one of the worst ways to come in together to the market. That just puts money in with family and friend relationships, and that can destroy them. Isn't that just one of the ancient lessons of civilization? Property share home loans, are an option if you want to buy a property with multiple people. Well, I get you do that with your wife, but you kind of you're trapped together then. But there I go, Florian. I'm old-fashioned. I'm evolving into boomer mode. I really am. These instruments make it easier to manage repayments and legal processes. Set the ground rules if you're buying a property with friends or family. Think through what happens if someone wants to sell their share of the property. Having open conversations before entering any agreements will hopefully prevent future conflicts. As this shows, there are plenty of ways to achieve the great Australian dream of owning your own home. What's required is some foresight and planning, and of course, a reasonable deposit no matter which path you choose. I don't know what I've just seen here. So, first off, we've got a potential relationship between this gentleman here in the article and another one here. Which, okay. Is that a big deal? Maybe. Would you care? If anyone's going, see, that's the thing. If there was, maybe that's out of date. But those things were only updated 4 days ago. Maybe it just happens to be a complete coincidence. But if you were buying into a development that you were selling that you were so proud of, wouldn't that be something that you want to spruik, that you want to say? Or is this just to generate a piece looking at what's focusing on the strategies, isn't it? It's not focusing on the development. That's thanks to the digging of the viewer. But then you've got all these long-term investment, which means don't worry if you get a hit to the price. Then all this terrible advice. I mean, buying off the plan. I can't recommend it. I can't recommend it with the way that we are constructing now. I can't recommend it unless there's some guarantees. I mean, you've got to remember also guys, we have trading while insolvent going on until the end of the year. So, I mean, hopefully that'll disappear when this building is sorted, but that's a risk element as well. So what do you reckon? What do you think? Oh, good luck, mate. I think you're going to need it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I created, there are a few ways you can. Join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. Support the channel using any of our affiliate links down below. Buy a merch from HeiseSays or Teespring. Use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I will see you all next time. Bye for now.